And we're back. I'm Lindsay Webb with an instant update on the major storm here in Vermont. All state roads have been declared closed after the 11 inches of rainfall and major flooding. Millions are without electricity, and hundreds have been displaced from their homes due to the flooding. After the local and state funds and resources are used, the federal aid will take over to help us get the community back on its feet. We have asked everyone in the flooding zone to evacuate their homes. There have been emergency shelters set up for those evacuated, with food, water, any necessary medical needs, and personal hygiene necessities. Due to the loss of electricity, we are on the radio for those affected to hear us. If you are not at the shelter, we urge you to go to high ground to wait for rescue. And please be sure to keep your family close. Reports show hundreds are missing and 40 have been found dead. After this broadcast, we will have a list of the local shelters and where to receive help. If you have a smartphone and access to the internet, it is also on our website. We have mobilized an emergency team, police, firemen, EMTs, and other agents, including volunteers, that are dispersing health and medical resources and supplies, such as medications, first aid kits, as well as food, water, and clothing. Our agents are coordinating activities to ensure the safety of our community. Medical and other services are accessible at the local hospitals, as well as the local emergency shelters. We urge everyone to resort to one of these two places in order to ensure a safe environment. To lift our hopes in this great disaster is a story of a couple risking it all to help others. Mr. and Miss Johnson fortunately live at the top of Mount Vermont roadway, a large mountain. Mr. Johnson took his boat and traveled through the town helping his neighbors by picking them up and taking them back to his home on high ground where it's dry. There is no flooding. Flooding did not affect them. All the while, Miss Johnson kept her home warm and food ready for the survivors, with fresh water, dry clothes, and a nice warm meal. We've not been able to interview them yet, but we're currently on our way so we can capture this amazing moment and this heartwarming couple and their act of kindness. Many drills and exercises by the agents working right now have been performed, and they have been expected to know what to do in times like this. Our local first responders and regional representatives will look to our Homeland Security and Emergency Management Department. The governor will also look to the Homeland Security and Emergency Management Division, Administration, and the advisor, who in turn will go to the Homeland Security and Emergency Management Division. This division will go to the state advisory bodies, local advisory bodies, and the executive state policymakers who can relay the message to the local first responders and the regional representatives. There are many public health concerns relating to this disaster. Hypothermia, for those who will be cold and not warm. Dehydration and starvation. Drowning due to the flooding. Illness, such as pneumonia or any kind of bacteria illness from contaminated water or food. All of these things can lead to death if untreated. The elderly and children of our community are the most population at risk. These groups are reliant on others in order to take care of them, and they may not have the mobility like others. Contaminated water and unlivable shelter is another risk and health concern surrounding this disaster. This can extend past the disaster. Our rescuers and agents working have all been trained to handle emergencies such as this. And we are all working together to get out of this disaster. We urge our volunteers to step up and, like Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, they have volunteered their own home for those in need. Please stay safe and be sure, if there is any problems, get to your emergency shelter or your local hospital. Rescuers are doing the best they can, but we can only get so many people at such a good time, and it will take time to get to you. FEMA has coordinated the shelters, rescues, and the evacuations. We also welcome your feedback from this disaster after all is said and done. We will have more information on this. But this allows for us to create and research new insights and innovative solutions that can possibly help if a disaster like this strikes again. We've mobilized all of our health resources, personnel, and supplies. And now we will do what we do best, and we will work together to get past this disaster and wait until the storm clears. I'm Lindsay Webb, and this is your local news team. Thank you, and please stay safe.